personal identity in the afterlife? That's a tricky issue. I think philosophy can say a couple of things. Of course, philosophy, we do not know anything for sure about the afterlife. But I think what philosophical theories about personal identity in general, they can just help us to show like which conditions have to be met if we want to, or which conditions have to be met so that we successfully continue to exist in the afterlife, so to say. So on the one hand, you might just think about the different theories about personal identity, about our identity through time. All of these theories, they spell out like what are the main features they are focusing on, what are the costs associated with these theories. And so one might say, well, depending on, like, take the biological view, if you assume that we are just human organisms, that's just our metaphysical nature, so to say, is just to be a biological entity, then this would of course imply that if we want to continue to exist after biological death, then we have to continue in some biological form, right? Otherwise our metaphysical nature, so to say, would change. We would not just, maybe we might get some additional features in the afterlife, but if our metaphysical nature changes, then at least there is a strong intuition that then our existence come to an end and a new existence, the existence of another individual, begins. So it seems that our metaphysical nature has to be preserved through biological death if it is us and not someone else that shows up in the afterlife. Or you might think, if you're psychological, if what really makes you you is your psychological life, then you might say that, well, if it's really me landing in the afterlife, if it's really me that God resurrects, then I must have some psychological connections between this life and the life to come. So I think philosophy helps us, or the different models of personal identity, they help us just to show like what must be true, what must be the case, so that we can enter the next life and that we continue to exist also in the afterlife. And of course, each theory of personal identity has a different emphasis, and depending on what emphasis you choose, depending on what theory you choose, this affects also your theory about personal identity in the afterlife.